Hi. Well, now since we've got all this part done, I've had to do like a few odd adjustments and get everything all set right and get everything back down a little bit. But what I'm going to do now is the back piston, which is here, gudgeon pin, rings on. I am now going to pop that on and basically just take one of the circlips out, slide the gudgeon pin out, pop piston on, gudgeon pin in, circlip in, and I'll do that now. And making sure that the little mark there, the arrow, is pointing forward, so it'll be going in that way round. Yeah, okay, do that now. Right, now piston's on, circlip's been put in. Best way I figured how to do that was just put it into one side, push down on the top, keeping the thumb over it, little Allen key into the little insert there and feed the part in, and by that way, with my thumb still remaining there, it makes sure that the circlip isn't going to fall out and go down into the sun. Now for the next part, what I'll do is I'll get a barrel and pop the barrel on, and I'll come back once that's done. Okay, first thing I do before I put the barrel on: toilet paper, engine oil, and just give the barrel a quick coating, a bit of oil, and that will help keep the compression for when the pistons go up and down. They'll stop the pistons from sticking, the piston rings sticking, and keep the compression there. Right, now after getting the barrels on, next thing to go on, a gasket. Do that now, be back in a minute. Making sure that the little dowels are in, and then we can go ahead and put the head gasket on, and then cylinder head after that. Right, next thing, got the little nuts on, and once the gasket's on, I'll put the cylinder head on. Okay, so first set of rings in, the oil rings. Second ring to go in now, this one, and I don't know if you can actually see that little mark there, that is face side up, and this is ring number 2. And now we've got ring number 2 in, and now for ring number 1. When putting the rings in, always remember though, the gap, not to make sure that the gaps don't line up with each other, otherwise you lose a hell of a lot of compression. Always best for the oil rings, I put one at 7 o'clock, the scraper ring at 6 o'clock, the other oil ring at 5 o'clock. Right, so front piston's on, and basically with the rings, way of setting them up is the oil scraper ring. I've done bottom ring at 7 o'clock, scraper ring at 6 o'clock, top ring at 5 o'clock, second ring is at 10 o'clock, and the top ring is at 3:30. But making sure that the gaps ain't overlapped each other and they're all out the way, and with them being up back end of the piston, when the barrel slides on, be easier to do. So next bit is put the barrel on, and that's it. I'll come back in a minute. Right, what I've done now is got the barrel on, nothing washer, stainless, and I'm using nylock nuts, which are stainless. Got the hammer run through so don't lose me cam chain, and then next will be the two little dowels, head gasket, cylinder head, and then yeah, come back in a minute. So I'm doing the two dowels, head gasket, cylinder head, and yeah, got the other nut to do here as well. Right, and there we go, heads on, hammers in place to hold the cam chain in. Yeah, and this is what we're getting so far. Engine's near enough done now, thank God. Has been a bit of trying my patience sometimes, but I'm just glad to see it all coming together now. And once I've got a little bit more done and get a bit more further with it, my engine starts to run. Yeah, satellite star, cool. And just glad that I'll have an up and running vn1500 soon. Woohoo! Right, back again. Got the rocker covers back off. Everything's all turning fine. Nuts torqued up to the correct settings. As you can see, there's one of the camshaft marks there, lined with the camshaft. It's pointing at the 12 o'clock position, so that's lined up with the R timing mark round there on the rotor. So that's the rear head at top dead centre at the moment, the rear piston. Right, next part, which you'll be coming up to, will be the two new dowels for there. Get the rocker covers on, cylinder head bolts, nuts, sorry, torque them down, and hopefully that'll be the engine then complete, and just need the water pump cover that side. But as you can see, it's all starting to look like what it's supposed to now. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll now take the engine off here and see if it'll fit into the frame, and if it's giving me enough gap so I can work with the rocker covers off with the motor in the frame. At least then that's the motor in the frame. If not, I'll just have to move it back outside of the frame till I got the rocker covers on, and hopefully go from there. But if we can get the motor into the frame, bolted down, and I've got enough gap to just put the rocker covers in, well then that'll be absolutely fine. That means the motor's in today. Right, what I've got to do to the engine now is oil lines, and yeah, got the feeder bolt which goes in there, and oil lines go on, and get that done now. Okay, now we got the oil pipe on, and before oil lines, I've routed them round. I haven't routed them in properly yet. I still need to sort out the top part of the heads yet, but at least I know where they are. They are routed in the right direction, and they are going round to the correct imports. So that's all done. I've got to take the rocker covers back off and then disconnect them at the other end, but at least I know they're in the correct lineup. So yeah, job done. And they're the two caps which initially go hang on, inside the cam. So see if that'll go in. Yeah, fits in fine. And what I'll do now is I shall what's the stuff? Silicon right round, all round here. Put the end bung in, rocker cover on, and tighten that up. Be back in a minute. Okay, so this is where I'm up to now. Engine's near enough complete. Enough all done, as you can see. What I've got to do now, or what I have done is, I marked up the rear timing mark, and for the rear cam, I've timed that up, and basically the best way to do it is on the camshaft there's two horizontal lines next to each other. They have to line up with the line of the head, with the top mark pointing at the top. So that like little notch there is at the 12 o'clock position. Done one and done two. I haven't completed them properly. I've got to take the rocker covers back off and torque down the sprocket bolts. Reason why I haven't done them yet is because I wanted to make sure that the engine turned freely when the rockers were on. I've rotated the engine over a complete 180 degree 360 degree turn, and everything is turning fine, with no catching. Valves are moving perfect, so I'll get them rockers back off, put in the additional torque the bolts down properly for the camshafts, and that's then done. Be back in a minute. Hi, back again. Right, the only thing left to do now is on round the top part of the heads here need to be gasket sealed. So we have tube of black silicone sealant, high temperature, and bungs which go in there, and then rocker covers to go on, and I shall get the back one done and I shall be back shortly. Oh, and there's a little cap what goes into the cam there. I shall get a picture of that in a minute and be back shortly. And there you go, oil lines connected up, and that's that done. Got to do now is this side, and be back in a minute. Okay, here we go. Right. So, since the last clip that I've done, I have now got the rear rocker on. Also got the front rocker on, and other addition, I put the injector bodies on. Now, all this was basically just slot them into the centre. The 4 bolts on the inlet manifold, and that's where I've got up to with the motor up to now. Next bit, this bracket that'll be going on, and that will be mounted there onto both sides of the heads, and that's just like a cable strap for the air filter back part, which I've given like a little bit of a clean, got a bit of the dust off. Cable coming up the back, and that'll just be tied up around that little strap there. Right, I'll get that done and be back in a minute. And as for the push rod, that just goes through there, like so. And there we go.